Hello and a good morning, good afternoon and a very good evening to you, the good and little people of the tube. Well, today I hope you're feeling grand and all is well in your world, people of the tube. Hello there. Today's vid, everybody. I've been kind of meaning to do this for a while. And it was actually a subscriber's idea to do this a while back. I ain't actually got round to doing it. But I want to kind of start like a little a little series of this, the title. Albums that changed my life, and talk about some of the albums that I listened to that really did kind of like just help me through things and just basically, like I say, change my life, So if this is something you want to see more of, PeopleTube, let me know in the comment section below. If not, this will be the only one. Just let me know what you let me know what you think in the comment section below. But it's something I kind of like when it was kind of like brought up as an idea to me in the comment section. I was like, I like the idea of that because everyone's got like a soundtrack to their life. And then he fell off my chair. And it's quite nice to share those kind of those moments, I think. So, and people of the tube, I want you to share yours as well. Comment section below is yours. Albums. What albums changed your lives? Let us know and why in the comment section below. Go for it. So I'm going to start with this one because this is really important to me. This album. It's Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory. Now, this album came out in 2000, but I wouldn't have got this in 2000. I'd have got this in 2001. Would have been 2000. Yeah, it would have been. I would have got this in 2001. So I didn't get it on kind of like release time or anything like that. This came out basically when I was still at school. I was in my last year at school, I believe I would have been. Or would it have been the year after? I don't know. Either way, I wasn't in a good place, people with Tube. Having gone through all the abuse and horribleness that I'd had at school, I was in a very, very dark place. I hadn't listened to music for years. I didn't listen to music. I didn't do anything music related because I had nothing in me. There was no light in me at all. I had nothing, absolutely nothing in me. I just had no desire. The only thing I wanted, and this is going to sound very dark, but please go with me. The only thing I wanted, and I've said this before, is to die. I didn't want to be alive anymore because it hurt. It physically hurt to be alive. And there's a certain somebody on this album who knows exactly what that feels like as well, and I'll get to talking about that as well. So I wasn't in a good place in 2000, 2001. And I didn't play guitar at this point. I didn't play guitar till 2002. Anyway, I left school in a very, very bad, dark place. And I started hanging around with people I thought were friends. It turned out later on they weren't friends. But they were listening to Linkin Park. They were listening to Stained and Limp Bizkit and all these kind of Rage Against the Machine. And out of all that, it was this album that perked my ears up. And it really, I don't know, it just got to me. And it was the first album to get to me musically, coming out of that spate of my life, that period of my life. The last one probably before that would have been Oasis in the 90s. Probably Be Here Now. But this album, I remember hearing this album, a friend had it, and they were listening to this a lot. And I remember seeing the music video too, In the End, on Kerrang TV. And it just got me in a way I didn't fully understand. I was like, why is that making me feel? For lack of a better word, why is it making me feel something? What is this I'm feeling? I didn't know what was going on. I was so damaged, if you will, that it was really hard for me to kind of like process what was going on with this album. Anyway, and it's not been till years later that I really understand this album. even though I've kind of like, the lyrics are very self-explanatory, Chester's lyrics in it are very, very self-explanatory to a lot of things that I go through, have been through and still go through. And a lot of us do. It took me a long time to understand exactly why it affected me so much. And it's simply because of the lyrics and the music and the power of the sound. This entire album is just full of songs of kind of like, anxiety and depression and all sorts of horrible things. One Step Closer, Crawling is a great, again, that's my little tribute at the beginning, if you will. By Myself, In the End, Place for My Head, Forgotten, Pushing Me Away, all these song titles and the lyrics and stuff like that, it's very, very powerful stuff. And again, poor old Chester, man. My heart breaks for him. Because I know exactly how he felt. And I'm sure a lot of us know how he felt. And the lyrics are... They kill you when you read it now. I mean, it's obvious. The man wasn't in a very good place, full stop. You could tell that. But if you watch his interviews, you could tell he's in a very bad place. And I'm convinced that the reason this album came along and connected with me so much is because it was like therapy. It really did. It's like the lyrics to like Crawling are something inside me that pulls beneath the surface, consuming, confusing. Lack of self-control I fear is never ending. I can't seem to find myself again, the walls are closing in. It's like, oh, that was me, man. That was me, that's where I was. And all the other lyrics, it's... I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end it doesn't even matter. I mean, it could really get me. It really could get me, because it reminds me of that period of my life. I know exactly where I was, and it's a place that he was, and obviously. And it's just hard to... It's actually hard to listen to be honest with you. It's a very hard album to hear. And I do apologise about the planes. Humongous. But it's very tough to listen to now because of the lyrical content. And again, it came along at a period of time where that was me. I was broken. I was struggling with all sorts of stuff. And again, I found comfort and solace in this album. Like, I'm sure so many millions of people did. This was a very big album when it came out. It really was. It was a big thing, and it threw them right into the limelight. It propelled them so fast. And like I said, I just remember like going to my mum, because I was out of school. I didn't have any money of my own, and I said to my mum, I said, could you get me Linkin Park's album, please, from Woolworths? And she was like, yeah, okay, no problem. And my sister remembers going to get it with my mum, this exact one. And they went into Woolworths, and my mum couldn't find it. And she actually went and asked the people if they could tell her where Linkin Park are. Not Linkin, Lincoln, as in like the city near me. And my sister was like in hysterics apparently, because like everybody's like, no, don't mean Linkin Park, sorry. And I wrote it down and everything, anyway, I remember this is the only CD I had, and this is the first CD that I tell a lie, I did buy this. I tell a lie, I did buy this CD, PeopleTube, because this is the first CD I bought coming out of that period of time. This video is actually really hard. I thought this was going to be quite easy to talk about, and it's actually really, really not. So bear with me, PeopleTube, if I'm waffling a bit. But yeah, I did. I bought this. This is my first album I bought coming out of that period of my life with my own money. And again, I just remember like bringing it home and putting it on, and it just clicked and connected with me. in a way that music should. You know what I mean? It really got me. And also Chester's one of the coolest guys in the world. I mean, I wanted to be him so badly. Little did I know how much we had actually in common. I thought he was so cool. And funny enough, around that period of time in my life with YouTube, I'd actually dyed my hair blonde. I had hair at that point. No, I don't have hair now, but I had more of it. And I actually dyed my hair blonde at that point in time. It was before I even played guitar. It's a full year before I played guitar. And it was basically, it really gave me an outlet, you know. It didn't get rid of the suicidal tendencies and thoughts and wants and desires. They were still very much there. I was still trying to think of ways to not be. On a daily basis, second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour. I was trying to find ways that I could just not exist, and so many things just kept happening to distract that. And you know, thank God, really, thank gravy lords for that, because I'm still here. And yeah, it really is important, this album, to me. It really is. And again, it's kind of hard to listen to it now, not only because of, you know, Chester, bless him, but for where I was at the time. You know, I needed this. I needed his lyrics. I needed their music. I needed it. I just didn't know I needed it until I heard it, and I was like, there you go. And I am just totally convinced that music is the best therapy and the best medicine for mental health. It really helps. I'm convinced of it, and I will push that till the day I die, because it's helped me so much. Music, it's the reason I'm alive. You know, if this album didn't come along, who knows? If the guitar didn't come along, I definitely know. You know, but this album's so important to me, and again, it's that period of my life that I remember so well, of just trying to just get through the days and hiding how I felt as best I could to everyone. You know, hiding the fact that every time I saw a knife, I wanted to jam it in me, and this was my escape. This album was my escape. I didn't really listen to anything else for a year other than this album, and it really just gave me that courage to fight it. It really did. It really helped in that way. And the lyrics, I mean, I didn't really know the lyrics. I didn't, you know, you couldn't just look them up on the internet. I didn't even have the internet. And yeah, it was tough. It was tough, but again, music saved me before I even played guitar. And again, I didn't listen to music at all, because I had no, there was nothing in my life with YouTube. I can't state that. It's just, there was nothing. The only thing I had was a desire to die, which is just insanity. You know, I was 13, 12, from 12 to 16 years old. That was my desire. That was my life. That was what I did every day. So, how can I do this? I used to fantasize about my funeral, who would come. My brain was so convinced that everyone would be so happy that I died, that it was a good idea. And it's albums like this that saved me. And it's lyrics from that man there that saved me. And they didn't save him, sadly. Which is heartbreaking, because I don't know. I don't really have the words. It's just it's not fair. It's just not right, and it's heartbreaking. It really is. Like, you know. And again, it's amazing. This is the thing I always think about with people like Chester and John Frusciante and Jimi Hendrix and Rory Gallagher and Mike McCready and Peter Green and Rick Mayall and Ade Edmondson and Kurt Cobain. I never met these people and will never meet them. But they had such an impact on me. There's such a way of being. It's incredible, really. I mean, they're such important parts of my life, and again, this album is such an important part of my life. When it goes on, it just takes me back to a period of time where I can feel all that intense sadness and depression and anger that I felt back then, and it's therapeutic to feel it because it lets it go. And that's the thing about music, people too, is it's a vent. It doesn't push things back inside of you. It pulls things out of you. And it just gets rid of it. It just throws it and it's gone. And you don't have to worry about it anymore, and everything's okay. Yeah, everything's okay. And again, music is just so important in that way. I feel it's so important, and if you lose music, my God, coming from the perspective of having lost music for those years, horrible. You shouldn't be thinking about that kind of stuff when you're young, especially not that young. And unfortunately, it's still going on. There are still kids out there now who go through what I went through, go through what Chester went through, go through what millions of people have gone through, and it's just wrong. And it infuriates me. I get so angry. Yeah. Anyway, this video was a lot harder to film than I thought it would be. But yeah, this is episode 1 of Albums That Changed My Life, Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory. Especially the songs Crawling and In the End. Those songs really got me. They really did. I just remember, In the End I was in love with, and Crawling I was in love with. I used to listen to those songs more than any. And you can see how much I actually listen to this album here too, because it's actually got no middle left. So there's the class bit's gone, and it's broken up here. Because basically wherever I went, this CD went. If we were in the car, this CD was in there. If I was going on somewhere else, this CD was with me. So, there we go. And again, I didn't want to do the intro jam today as well as like a tribute to anyone, but I feel I've got to, because I feel I owe Chester a debt of gratitude, really. I think we all do, especially me, for what this album did and the lyrics. And he tried to bring mental health really far forward. He did really amazing things for it. You watch his interviews and you can see that's a man in... That is not a stable man. He's very unstable, and it's heartbreaking to see. And I know exactly how he felt, and it's hard to watch. Hard to watch things. So I thought, why not? Why not? I'm going to dedicate the intro, even though it's one of their songs, and I thought, why not? Let's dedicate it to him, because it wasn't meant to be that way, but it's going to be that way. So anyway, PooTube. So there you go. That's episode 1. Of albums that changed my life. Like I say, if you want to see more of these, let me know in the comment section below. But other than that, really, really important album. And I say, this is still the original one. This is the one I got on that day, and I've still got it. Like I say, I've listened to this a million times. And and again, I love this, physical. It's a physical thing. It's not a download. I hate downloads. I bet you can't tell. This, I can hold it, I can open it, I can look at it, it reminds me of everything. I've got the CD, I've got the booklet with all the lyrics in, there's a picture of them. It's just there's artwork to look at. You can lose yourself in the album artwork and the whole thing, and I miss that. I still love CDs. I think it's the most important thing. CDs, albums, records, tapes, I think are important, and I don't think we should... value downloads over this. I really don't think we should. But anyway, I'm going to get off now. I'm going to stop preaching on them. So. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this vid, Pikachu. I'll see you again for another one. Have a great morning, afternoon, good evening. Tell me your albums that changed your life. Comment section below. It's all yours. Go for it. And yeah, see you again. Awesome.